Okay, backwards.
Hi. Hey everybody, it's Mindy Horde from Team Relentless. This is a live Team Relentless call. I have opened all my calls up over the last couple months to the public because I get so much feedback from other coaches who are just kind of stuck and they're lost, and maybe they don't have upline support or a strong upline, and so it's physically impossible for me to take everyone under my wing. So I've opened up all my calls because it's kind of like a mini version of the National Wake Up Call, about twice a month. And I have different guest speakers that I get on after listening to people in my down, the things that they're struggling with. And I'm finding people who can talk about these subjects, or subjects that I just feel that get neglected or need to be reinforced. Because it's always good to hear from somebody outside of your team. Over the last week when we were at leadership, I was talking to my friend Jimmy Hayes Nelson. He is one of the PioCast members, an excellent coach, and we were all talking about how it's kind of like he called it the uncle phase, or I call it the parent phase, that your parent or your spouse tells you something that you know, and you don't listen because it is parents or somebody who you feel is just saying it because they have to. So sometimes hearing it from a third party just triggers something. And I also feel that people learn differently, they communicate differently, and sometimes even though you may have an excellent upline, excellent support, you may go to all of these events. Sometimes things that somebody says, some little nuggets there, will just totally change everything that you think about, or it
Whoa.
will just be an off. So, and John's on. We're having test. So anyways, we're going to keep this, call about 30, 45 minutes. But this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. It is personal development. John and Coby are both Texas coaches who I adore, and it's always great for me to have a male perspective, because unfortunately there are not enough male coaches within the organization who have that. They've had amazing transformations. They'll probably give you a little introduction of who they are, but I wanted them to share, before I give information about me, about how personal development has completely changed the direction of their business, because they've been coaches longer than me. I watched them shortly after I became a coach really just change the direction of their business, their mindset, and it was, I remember asking John last year at leadership, and he said was personal development. So I'm going to have Coby go first, and then we'll turn it over to John. You
All
there?
right. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So thank you for the introduction, Mindy. We just were talking how we just got back from leadership in Arizona. It was so freaking hot. We're all just like still in a daze from those 5 days. But it was an awesome trip, and obviously leadership is something you all should be aspiring to get to next year, if not the New Leader Conference in January. So my name is Coby Linder. Like she said, I am currently a 5-star diamond coach. I was an elite coach last year for my first time, which was amazing because at leadership they freaking pampered us and snuck into our room and gave us gifts and stuff. It was amazing. I kept going back in my room, and it was pretty cool. Um, I've been a coach since September 10th, 2010 is when I signed up, and much like many of you and maybe like Mindy and John, for the first 8 months or so, I didn't really do much. I kind of just like twiddle my thumbs. I was a customer for 2 years before. A little backstory before coaching. I was a customer. I was 240 pounds. I was unhappy with myself. Bought P90X. Did Insanity. Ended up losing about 75 pounds with Beachbody program. So for the fitness side, completely changed my life. Got in the best shape of my life. And then obviously loved Shakeology, signed up as a coach, for the discount. I just wanted that discount on Shakeology. I knew I was going to drink it pretty much for the rest of my life because I knew how good it was and I loved the taste. This was back when greenberry was pretty much disgusting and chocolate was amazing, so I just rolled with the chocolate. And my coach, Jimmy Nelson, I found him on YouTube and just signed up and really just wanted the discount. And it wasn't until Summit 2011, which is about 8-9 months later, that it all hit me. It was just like, wow, this Beachbody thing is something way bigger than I could have ever even seen as a customer or a brand new coach. It was my first summit. It was my first time seeing other coaches, meeting so many coaches that I've been following on Facebook and YouTube, hearing Carl talk, and obviously just getting that whole vibe that you do from events, which events are so important. From leadership to summit to Super Saturdays, which are coming up this weekend, the Success Club trip, obviously. I mean, these events are vital. And that all kind of ties in together about our topic for tonight, which is personal development, which me and Mindy were talking with. Literally, it's the most, I feel like it's, if you were to take all the vital behaviors, it would be the most important one. Um, Me having lost 75 pounds as a customer for 2 years, I didn't do any personal development because customers don't do personal development unless they sort of find out on their own or their coach helps them do that. I didn't have a coach, though, until I found Jimmy 2 years later. But personal development, we always have that friend or person that we're coaching that, they lost 75 pounds, they lost 100 pounds, or you see people on The Biggest Loser and they lose like 200 pounds. And you're like, man, they got it all figured out. They lost all the weight. They're going to start their new life, right? And something happens in their life, and it could be any variable of things. It could be their dog died or their dad died or they got into a car accident or they broke up with a girlfriend or boyfriend or they got fired from their job. All these things that life sort of throws at us, and it sort of takes us off, right? It takes us off to sort of back where we were. We sort of revert back to those bad habits. And I truly believe that happens, and that could happen even if you are doing personal development, but I really believe that happens if you're not working on the internal you, if you're not working on, becoming a better person, understanding why you got overweight in the first place, understanding why Beachbody, you were drawn to Beachbody in the first place, understanding all these things, and to me, for those first 8 months that I was a coach, I wasn't doing personal development, and that first event summit was like a freaking tornado of personal development right in my face, and it was just right there. I love hearing Carl talk, hearing his passion. We can get some of that on the national wake-up calls and hearing other top coaches, but I started plugging in to all these different forms of personal development. I was on the national wake-up calls. I was on my team calls. I would go to basically any event that was anywhere local, and I actually flew out to a couple Dallas events back when I was living in Los Angeles, which was a big catalyst for me into moving to Dallas. And then I started diving into books. The Compound Effect was the biggest game changer for me. If you guys haven't read that book, and that is a book I tell all of my new coaches to read and my whole downline to read, it's kind of like point A, how P90 is like the on-ramp to fitness. That book is the on-ramp to personal development. That book, it'll take you out of your body and put you in like a bird's eye perspective of your life, and you're going to be looking down at your life and saying, man, like, what was I doing at 3:30? I could have made the most amazing choice if I only chose the right thing. It gives you this power over your life, and that book changed my life. I think I've read it like 4 or 5 different times. We've heard Darren Hardy talk, obviously, at Summit and at Leadership 2 years ago, and I YouTube him all the time pretty much. He's awesome. But there's so many other good books. I know there's lists floating around. I'm sure, Mindy, your team has a list of personal development books that you guys like to read. But I can really just say super confidently that you can work out. The workouts, I have nothing bad to say about the workouts, Shakeology, all of our supplements, the trainers, all these things. But if you're looking to be, and this is coaching aside, but obviously in building your business and being the best coach and being the most positive you, which you really have to be as a coach, being your most positive you, just being the best person you want to be. It's such a game changer. You look at what you can do with your time, whether it's watching the news, listening to that same old song you've been hearing 30 times that has negative lyrics in it, listening to the radio, listening to talk radio, going to a bar. Like, there's so many things, watching horror movies, like all these negative things that you can do. And if you really just make those choices every day to get in, we say 10 to 15 pages or minutes of personal development. But if you can look at personal development more as your TV time, or time you would go see a movie, or while you're driving in your car, or while you're doing your workout. I know some people who they'll mute the workout or turn the music off on the options and play personal development in the background, and that's really powerful because the combination of that is so amazing. But the power of personal development is huge. It's something that can easily get overlooked, even though it's a vital behavior. But it's huge, and working out, eating right, inviting people, and doing personal development has to be done every day. And I really recommend at least 30 minutes a day, at least 30 pages or a few chapters. But honestly, a book like The Compound Effect, I finished that the first time over a weekend. I think it was like Saturday and half a Sunday. It's such an awesome read and a short book. And personal development comes in so many forms, and from events, And I'll urge you all to get to the Super Saturday closest to you and be a part of that, because that is huge, and that's gonna just strike a chord with you. Something in those 3 to 4 hours is gonna change you, and if you're open to it, it could change you to really build this business and to help a lot of people. So, personal development has definitely changed my life. I know everyone on this call, Mindy and John, has changed ours. If you're a coach, if you're a successful coach, you're passionate about it. You're passionate about every day building on top of your life and getting better. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, thank you, Coby. That's very insightful. For anybody on this call, I know, because like you said, that all of us on the call, we do this regularly. We see the benefit. For me, it's crazy because I knew it was beneficial for me, but I've watched these two men change the direction of their business, and it was all because of personal development. They already had their transformation in progress, and they've already reached several goals. They already attended events. They already drank their Shakeology. But the catalyst to their momentum of their business and the way they saw themselves as leaders was personal development. And I feel that if you're a coach, you should know what the 3 vital behaviors are. And if you are one of my personally sponsored coaches, I would hope no, because I talk about this all the time. But I feel that this is the one listed last, in the series of the 3 vital behaviors. But it's the one that is underestimated, and it's we say start off with 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And not everybody likes to read. I have horrible ADD, and it's very hard. And it's not even so much that I'm like, oh, a squirrel or something shiny. It's that I'll be reading this book and I have this great point, and then I have to share it and tie it into this big thing, and then I get sidetracked, and then I end up washing dishes, and But I still do it every day, and it is something that you need to start small. Like Coby recommends 30 minutes. If you don't like to work out, it's the same thing that I say with people who want to tackle insanity or have never worked out and they even want to tackle 21-day fix and it's hard. Just start with what you can. If it's just 2 pages a day, that's better than nothing. And then if the next day read 3 pages a day or 5 minutes, and the next day 10 minutes, whatever it is, it's the same thing that I say about workouts. You don't have to be able to blast through 30 minutes with Autumn, but if you could just do 5 minutes today and do the best you can and give it your all, that's fine. Then tomorrow do better and keep doing this, because this is the compound effect, which is a book that corporate and all of us coaches have read, and we urge you to do that because it's a good starting point. It's very easy to read. It's very short, easy to follow, and it all makes sense, and it's going to help every area in your life, not just as building a team or being a leader or remembering to drink Shakeology or remembering to push play. It's very easy. So if you don't have it, order it. If you can't afford it, reach out to somebody, and somebody in the organization will loan it to you. They'll send it to you. Your sponsor will buy it for you, whatever it is. So I'm going to pass it over to John. Let's see. There he is. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Okay. So hopefully everyone's having a good evening. A little bit of history on my end, if you don't know me. John Hayes. I actually became a coach in April of 2008, the same month that Tommy Migrant and Mike Ryan did. So I've been around for a while now, and it's kind of the Wild West back then. We didn't really have Shakeology, we didn't have challenge groups, we didn't have challenge packs. I mean, every month you're basically saying to somebody, you really need a multivitamin this month, or you really need omegas, to keep everybody active, because we didn't have Shakeology, so it was tough. Plus, we didn't have a game plan. We didn't have anybody to tell us like how to grow our business, and so we didn't have anybody pushing personal development. So it's really funny seeing this business and how it changed when they got some network marketing type guys in, Larry Zimberg, Craig Holliday, some of these guys in to say, hey, this is how you do it, and personal development is part of that. And suddenly, my cousin Jimmy Hayes Nelson really took off with that, to a point where in those early days, I mean, he was doing it more than anybody, and I was saying you should probably get up on stage and talk about personal development. But I became just a rabid dog with it, because the reason I got into coaching is basically my folks passed away back to back. My mom passed away in 06, and my dad passed away in 08, and you can imagine what that does to you. I went through a lot, not just grieving, but just worth issues. My dad had been a poverty mindset guy. He was one of these guys who had gotten his master's and said he'd never read a book again. So I mean, all these different things going on in my head, right? So I got a master's degree myself, but I still like to read. And so I just dove in. I'm like, something's got to change for me, for my life. And I want to help people get healthy and fit, but also I need to change my mindset if I'm going to be successful with this. And personal development is how it happened. And I got fortunate in the early days. I wish I'd gotten to see Jim Rohn when he was alive, but I did get to see Brian Tracy live, and I did get to see Zig Ziglar live. Jimmy and I and millionaire coaches Barbie Decker and Jason Diebold drove down to Austin years ago and saw Brian Tracy at this little seminar, and it was amazing. I mean, Jimmy and I at the time were having issues with closing. Brian Tracy had this very simple thing. He's like, instead of having them get on the website and trying to do all this stuff, just hand them a piece of paper and just have them fill out their basic info and take it back and say, you know what, let me do all the details for you. And that like flipped the business for Jimmy and I. We never would have learned that if we hadn't gone to an event, a personal development event, right? So you got to open your mind a bit and think, personal development, what can it be? Well, it can be books, it can be audio books, it can be events, right? I've been to some major events. I've been to like Danny Johnson. I've been to Sandy Krakowski. I've been to PSI, all these events. And not that I was a bad person before, but just growing, right? We're always trying to learn and grow. And man, I tell you, after going to those events, that's when my business took off, And so I'll show you something real quick if you can see. Can you see me? Hopefully. I'll show you my screen here. I love audiobooks, so my computer is chock full of personal development audiobooks. And, the nice thing is this way you can just pop it in, pop it on your phone, and listen in your car as you're driving along. And it's so easy. And you can get a lot more done in a short period of time. You talk about reading 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages. You can get like a chapter or 2 or 3 done in just a few minutes in audiobook. And you really kind of have to do that with some of the old ones, like what is it? How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. You're not going to get through that one. That's a thick book, but you can get through it pretty easily on audiobook. Same thing with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, another classic. These are things that will help you tremendously. And plus, the inflection and the emotion that people read with helps a lot too. So treat personal development kind of like you're going to school. Your undergrad early days, you start with simple books. Like Coby mentioned, the compound effect. I get my coaches to read 3 books starting out. I say the compound effect, GoPro, obviously, that I'm sure you're familiar with, kind of own your business. Compound effect is consistency. But the third one, not as many people know about, it's called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And it's all about resistance in your life and identifying resistance and the different forms of resistance. And not only overcoming it, but also realizing on the times in your life when resistance gets really strong and just beats down on you, it's actually a sign that you're about to break through a big goal and you're actually on the right path. So when you can see that and you can read that and you can understand that that's true, nothing can stop you. Think about that. So you got these 3 weapons now in your arsenal. You're consistent every day. Resistance doesn't stop you. And you own your business. Nothing can stop you, right? So that's like the syllabus for the undergrad course. Now let's get to the mastery, the grad level course, right? You've got the basic books down that we recommend or that Mindy recommends for you, and you're like, what's next? What should I read next? Well, this is kind of my own opinion on how to decide what to read next. We all have lists, right? That's good. But for you, what I would say is, where am I lacking in my business? Where am I getting hiccups? What am I having a hard time with? Is it closing? Is it cost objection? Is it time? Is it my own health and fitness? What is it? There's books out there for each of those things. So that's what I would recommend for you is to go out there. An amazing book on closing is Brian Tracy's The Art of Closing the Sale. That's like a grad level course right there. I can listen to that thing again and again. Jim Rohn has what is it? The Art of Exceptional Living. That just makes you feel good, and if you're having just a bad day, just so many books out there, but that's the key. That really is the key, is your business will never outgrow you, so you've got to grow yourself, and then your business will grow from there. If you ever are seeing that you're stuck in a certain place in your business, unfortunately, that's where you belong right now, because your business is a reflection of where you are on your journey. So if you grow your journey, then you'll grow your business.
That was excellent. And you said you have a whole list of books, correct?
I do.
Okay.
On my team page, I've got a file. I can copy that and send it to you.
If you would mind, if you would post it in the event page, that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Check it, and then that way.
In fact,
responsible of having to send it to 1 million people.
Right. And then, in fact, it's funny, the synchronicity, as you get along further in the business, there's certain synchronicity with coaches. Mike Ryan and I, the other night, we had the same idea at the same time. And I think Scotty Hobbs, I don't even know the guy personally, we just run into each other at events. We had the same idea. He's acted on it before I did, but I didn't even know it. Everybody's like, well, Scotty's doing that. I'm like, I didn't know that. I had this idea that I'm going to do, and it's a big challenge, and I like challenges, and it's 52 and 52. So I'm going to do 52 books in a year, a book a week, and I'm not expecting anyone else to do that. I'm going to make a video once a week covering the things I learned from each one. Obviously, it's going to be kind of skimming. I'm going to try to do as many audiobooks as I can because I'll absorb more and more quickly. But yeah, again, it's all about growth. So yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me grab that.
That was one thing that Scotty he started that early this year, and he told me and he told a few coaches, and he brought that up at leadership. And again, this is why going to these events are amazing. But he was talking about how
there it is.
The topic really seemed to be at this leadership that we all just got back from in Arizona this last week was about, number one, about how to be a right leader, how to embody what you want for your team, and to step up and also create a culture, and the importance of events and the importance of family and balance. That seemed to kind of be the topic. And the one thing that Scotty was talking about is that we all, I hear this all the time from coaches, is my team's not doing this, my team's not doing that, because my teams are I'm telling my team to do this and this and this and this and this, and I have found, and I've been guilty of this myself, that some of the things that I was reinforcing, just passing the message along from corporate and sharing what successful coaches are doing, what I want my team to do, I wasn't implementing myself. And then also, too, comes the expectations, and sometimes people expect their coaches that they've sponsored to do exactly what they did, or people assume that they have to do exactly what their coach did. This is the thing, is I think we just need to set the right example and do the best we can, like Scotty said, and I think that he's actually been successful, that he's done the 52 books in 52 weeks, or throughout the year. And like he said, one of his coaches, what it stuck out was like they committed to, I think, like 6 books a year. So that's the point, is you can't compare yourself to where they are, because I get so distracted and I have a hard time with my focus to read. So 52 books that's just like whatever. But I came back and I set a goal that I was going to finish GoPro, which I've had for a year, and I read I read 20 pages on the plane, and I was going to read The Big Picture by Tony Horton, because I'm starting P90 and I just think it ties in. And then yeah, everyone said I'd love it. I just got to get through GoPro. And then we all got a set of books as elite coaches, and was going to read that. So I set a goal by November 1st to read these 3. So to me, I'm not reading 3 books or a book every week like Scotty, but yeah, I'm setting a goal, and I can't tell my team to do 52 books or even the 3, but I shouted out to my team, and I told them, and everybody stepped up to it. People were posting pictures of their books, and I know life gets busy. They may not finish it, and I might not actually finish it all by November 1st, but I'm making a plan, and I'm actually doing it. It was like 1 o'clock last night, and I was tired. I'd wrapped up everything, but I did read 10 minutes in this book, and while I was tired, I still got out of it, and I read like 4 or 5 pages, and that's kind of slow if you think about it for 10 minutes, because they're very short things. But I did, because I was pondering over it when I was doing that, and then when I took a shower, I was sitting there thinking about this, because the first book was how many people does it take to make a difference, and the first couple pages, we're talking about that, what your life, a perfect life would be, and what small changes, what small changes you can make, and how and I was sitting there thinking what my perfect life is, because I think this is what we're talking about leadership. And I was on Shalene Johnson's call, I think it was yesterday. My days run together, but she was talking about how we get so busy, and you have anxiety, and you're just going through day to day, and you're not enjoying your life, even if you're doing what you love, which is coaching. And so just 10 minutes, even early in the morning, reading that, I sat there and thought about it in the shower. I thought about it when I was drying off. I was thinking about it today, and thinking about what I want with my life. So this is what you understand. That doesn't necessarily help my coaching business or help me get to the next star diamond rank, or doesn't help me sell another challenge pack per se, but it helps me grow. It helps me think. So your mind is not just like what Coby was saying. You watch the news and stuff like that. We're just surrounded by negativity, and we're surrounded by people whose bad choices or stemmed because of failures. And so for me, personal development,
I was going to say something we talked about too before was personal developing your way to diamond, because for a while there I was just a coach and obviously not doing anything. Then I went to Summit, which I said was a huge personal development weekend for me. And I got to, after 8 months of doing nothing, I got to diamond 5 weeks after Summit. So, and that's when I started doing personal development. And I'm sure you've heard your coach say, I like to tell everybody that diamond is a choice because that's pretty much the only rank that you can control, that you sign up the coaches that you build. The other ranks are based on what you can inspire your coaches to do. And when I first joined, my coach asked me, so do you know 8 people or how many people do you know that would want to do this with you? And I was literally just like, my dad, like that's it, because my mind was so small and I didn't really understand the positivity of this all and the capability of what, how limitless I could really be. And personal development, did that for me. It opened my mind to like just my power that like God gave me. And to touch on something you talked about, just like not enjoying your life, the powerful thing about audiobooks is that you could be doing something like driving and you're caught in traffic, or you're doing something that might not be enjoyable. And I always used to say like life needs a soundtrack, and that soundtrack doesn't necessarily need to be cheesy 80s music or any rap music or anything. It could be personal development. You could be sitting in traffic and just sitting there and you're late to your job or you're late to a date or a meeting, but you have some Brian Tracy on or you have some Zig Ziglar on and you're empowered. And then who knows, you might just think of somebody you can help and make a phone call and get them on a challenge path. It opens up the possibilities of life when you can be bogged down by life around you. So I always wanted to say that.
That's excellent.
Mentioning
one of the good.
Oh, I was just going to say, mentioning music. If you are into music, this may be good for you. Jimmy found Jim Rohn set to Roy Smooth music, so it's really funny.
Awesome.
It's like this R&B music, but it's got Jim Rohn in the back giving personal development quotes, and Jimmy actually likes doing that when he's working out. So you can combine your worlds.
That's
one of the things I really recommend with my coaches, especially if they're having a hard time and they feel overwhelmed and all this stuff, is I said, and it goes along with what we've been saying, the way you start your day is the way your day is going to go. So instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to go to bed and that's where I'm going to read my personal development, if you wake up and the first thing that goes in your ear is like a personal development podcast, regardless of if you're have spiritual beliefs or whatever, a really good one that's just very uplifting is Elevation Church podcast. And it's not like super preachy. I mean, obviously it's got God and stuff in there, but it's just this positive message. And I had several of my coaches start their mornings with that. Just wake up and just put that in their ear, and they just came back saying right now, because it's how your direction is going to go for your day. Whatever it is, I mean, it can be any type of audio or whatever, but if you open your eyelids, you pop the headphones in, and you do that, and you're shaving, you're brushing, whatever, but that's filling your head, that's gearing your whole day, right? And one thing, I'm a very Ruby person, so I'm very competitive, but I also, I see the old rule is find the people who have what you want and do what they do. So I found the books. I got them online at Amazon, and in fact, there's more than what the elite coaches got. You see, that's my Ruby coming out. But there's 1, 2, 5, it's 1, 2, 5, 7, and 10, and they're amazing. They're just full of personal development quotes. I'm going to grow my mind. Also, this is like $1,000 worth of Facebook posts right here. So I'm going to be able to post these suckers on Facebook, and I already posted some of them yesterday and got tons of comments, because it's just general truths. So
I think that's amazing because, I was thinking as we were talking, and this is why this is so great to connect with other coaches and to get to events, because your mind starts going, and this conversation, like I like these video calls because you're all just kind of invited here to have this conversation between friends, sharing what's helped them. But my husband used to wake up every morning and watch the news, and I've never been a big news person. My parents were not into politics, and they're very religious, but closed-minded religious. So, but my husband is the opposite. You know, very, very opinionated, has lots of opinions, and you know, you see these things are going on, and it's really just based on, like I said, people failing. They feel like a failure, and they just can't get out of that rut. They stay, you know, basically fugitives and, you know, criminals and whatever. And there's people who just feel so lost that they take their life, or they take other people's lives, or they make stupid choices. And so we're just surrounded by this. And I remember him waking up every morning watching the news. It was just his habit, and he would just get so pissed off first thing in the morning about the things he saw and how stupid people were, and that just sets your pace. And it does, and you know that
I'm waking up like that anymore.
yeah, it's no fun. And as a parent, like, I remember yelling at my kids when I was stressed out, and that just set the tone for everybody. And so that was one thing that, you know, like what John was saying, started off in the morning. Jimmy, you know, his coach, he talks about how in the morning he sets alarm for like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not that early riser, but he puts his things in, he walks into the kitchen, makes his Shakeology, and starts to stay off that way. For me, reading puts me to sleep, so reading a book last night was great. Then I took a shower, got relaxed, got in bed, and thought about it. So there's not, you know, and then I like what Coby said, that taking a mundane situation you're in where you're bored, or where you could be pissed if you were stuck in traffic or stuck in a doctor's office, or, you know, agitated or whatever, is this. And it's also, too, that people tell me all the time, I don't have time to do my personal, you know, development. Christine Delgado, who's my coach's sister and one of my best friends, she does her personal development in the long car line when she's picking up Marley. You know, so here's the thing: is when you're stuck there, people waste time all the time, and you do have the time. You know,
Yeah.
So you make the time for it.
I mean, I used to wake up every morning. I would put on the news. I would go smoke a cigarette and have a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
And it changed. You know, the one thing, you know, quick, because I don't want to take, I have East Coast, I don't like to stay on late, but we've all talked about the different types of you know, personal development. It comes in forms. I went to Danny Johnson. That's for a whole other call, but it changed my whole life. So did John. I went twice. I came back and brought 9 people on my team to it because it was so amazing. So for somebody like me who has ADD, I can sit and listen to somebody all day long if I'm interested in it, rather than read it, even if it's the same content. There's audio. There's podcasts. There is videos. Like, I do all of my videos with people, you know, like Coby and John, who are here, who are talking about things that are areas of struggles for coaches. So use that. Plug into my YouTube to coaches. There's free content out there on YouTube. There are free books. There's audio books. There's ones that people within your team can loan you. There's, you know, GoPro comes in audio and a book. It's also a very easy read, which is not so much personal development, but it is a huge eye-opener if you are in network marketing or in any type of business. It's amazing. It's like the Bible.
It's cheap, too.
Let's see what else.
It's cheap,
yeah,
too.
I got mine for like
7 of these for $4 or something, for books piece. Something
yeah.
Like that.
A website I wanted to tell you about that one of my coaches who is in college told me about is alibris.com. ALIBRIS.com. You can find a lot of these books for 99 cents. I found The Compound Effect for 99 cents. So this is the thing. I have a shelf that's like this full, just totally full of books. I can loan people some. I want you to read it, and I want it back. But that's what I was going to say about. One other point that I want to talk about real quick is Chris Reed, one of our super awesome coaches in the Dallas area. He's an elite coach, and two times in a row, and so is his wife, Cody. He was talking about how, you know, whenever he became a coach, he was like SWAT team, and I mean, like, he is a manly Texas man, and he didn't want to do personal development in the beginning because he thought it was for people who had low self-esteem. And like he said, I didn't have low self-esteem, don't have low self-esteem, I have self-esteem coming out everywhere. So it was hard for him to do this, and male and female, they're like, I don't want to be fixed. Or there's also the thing too, it's like, well, if I realize there's a problem, I have to fix it. So, you know, it takes a little bit of humility, and you have to set your pride aside, but it is very worth it. Start with an easy read like Compound Effect, or, you know, GoPro, or something, you know, a small, you know, short book that's not too intense, to get yourself.
You know, what's a crazy easy read is Go for No. The book is a story. It's a story-based book. It'll take you like 20 minutes, and it'll impact you big time.
Yeah.
You know,
start off small.
A quote that I always tell my coaches is, and that touches on the Chris Reed thing: "There's no ego in coaching." So you really do have to humble yourself and get rid of that ego that says, I don't want to do personal development, I'm better than that or whatever, and you got to put it aside and listen to your coach. And we're not trying to rewrite anything, we're trying to help you succeed. So if you listen and do it, you will succeed.
Right, and it's one of those things that if you're stuck somewhere in your business, or you're stuck somewhere mentally, or you just feel like that no matter how much weight you've lost, no matter how healthy you eat, no matter how many people you've helped, you just still feel that emptiness inside, and you feel like there's something missing. Try personal development. I'm not going to get into it, but you could ask me or watching my videos or reading my posts that I had a real shitty life and a real shitty view of myself and really bad relationships, and I went to lots of counseling, but I will tell you, personal development coupled with fitness, coupled with putting yourself, surrounding yourself with positive people and doing stuff for your health was like the answer that I don't feel like I'm missing something. I don't feel empty anymore. So I just really suggest you try it. And the last point I want to make is that we're all telling you these books to read, and I know that I really think Compound Effect's great. Somebody said that it was like Snore Central, but this is the same thing as Beachbody. There's many programs because we're all different. Like I said, John loves to read. I don't really enjoy it, but I do
I
it.
love audio.
So everybody's different. You don't have to love. Yeah. You don't have to love to read. You don't have to love audio. You don't have to love, any of these things. But just give it a try. And you don't have to love the books that we do. If you try Compound Effect, or if you get this little, book that we got, or the Tony Horton book, whatever book we're saying, and you don't love it, doesn't mean you should stop. Same thing as if you try Shakeology for the first time and you don't like tropical strawberry, you don't like chocolate, don't stop there. Keep trying because it is good for you. We are living proof. And the biggest thing is too is I see this all the time. In our elite group, I see it on Facebook, I see it within my team page of people saying, what book do you recommend? And everybody starts throwing and vomiting out all this stuff. The point is, you've got to start with an easy read, I think, in the beginning to get your business going. But then at some point, because we're all different, we're all, walking out with our own struggles, our own, mental hang-ups and stuff. And so sometimes just because a book like Danny Johnson and Craig Holliday rocked my soul, changed the direction of my life, thinking. But the thing is, if you don't have a life like me or the mentality like me, for you. So the thing is, don't just go through what I say to do, or John says to do, or Coby says to do, or Jimmy Nelson, or Chris Reed, or any of these people do. Find the book and, maybe reach out to your sponsor or upline and tell them what you're struggling with, and we can help you find the book that's going to address the area that you need improvement or you want to, because I'm all about improving your weak spots, but than anything, I'm actually doing what John Maxwell says and strengthening what's already strong. So in closing, that's all I have to say. I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. If you're on this call, John is, or maybe already did, posting his list of books. But the thing is, give it a try. Just start off small because this is what is missing, and it is the cheapest form of therapy. I throw away a lot of money on counseling, and these books are a whole lot cheaper on top of exercise. So anyways, pass this call on with somebody else. The link that you clicked on to join, it is going to take you to the recording as well. So thanks, fellas. It's been great. I'll see you in, I guess I'll see you in Cancun.
Thanks for having